Hello everyone, long time no chat. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be talking about how I plan to make sure that I just have everything taken care of and know when things are happening, what is happening, all of that. I've had a lot of requests from you about wanting to know how I plan, how I make sure I'm just on top of everything. And this is a system that I have been honing and trying to perfect over the years. It's still not perfect, but you know, we're headed there. So today I'm gonna be showing you all the planning. So some of this is gonna be things that I do on a monthly basis, some of it will be things that I do on a weekly basis, and some of it will be things I do on a daily basis. But this is how, again, I just make sure that I am on top of everything. If you feel overwhelmed, stressed out, or like you're just kind of reacting to things, the number one thing I can tell you is to have a solid planning system so that you know when things are happening and how they're happening, and just you know that things are gonna get done. There is nothing more stressful, like literally in all of life, whether it comes to teaching, your home and cleaning, or your kids, or your business, or whatever, than not knowing how you're gonna get everything done. So I'm very passionate about planning. I am an Enneagram number 1. So the main things that I really work to plan are my content. So all of that stuff that is recurring throughout the month. And then my smaller things that I need to do like on a weekly basis, like emails need to get planned out so that I know when I'm sending emails and what emails I'm sending, and you know, like what products I want to make, and all of those extra projecty things that I have to work on. So I have kind of 3 main things that I use for planning. Number 1 is my content calendar. I used to keep my content calendar in my planner, just on like the monthly pages. So I would just have it like on here. Do you see how, first of all, do we see how empty this is? It's so depressing. There's nothing happening. But those like, oops. Those little sticky notes used to be on the different days, and I recently switched this year to a like desk calendar, mostly because my full focus planner is a quarterly planner, so it only has 3 months at a time, and I wanted to be able to plan things out further than that. And then secondly, because I like to use these sticky notes, and I can use like the full size sticky note on here, and I had to cut them into like 4ths to put them in my planner. So that's the real reason why I switched them. I love the sticky notes because they're easy to change around if you're like, oh no, that's not gonna work, or oh no, I need this to come out first. So yeah, so content calendar is number 1. That can be obviously in your calendar, it could be in your Google Calendar, it could be whatever you want. I just like paper and pencil. Number 2 is my bullet journal. So that's something I will be setting up for February this week. I will show you bits and pieces of that. I won't show you like the full setup, but just kind of how it goes and how I make sure that I look at those yearly things and switch them to the monthly things. And then the third piece is my planner. So you could do just a planner and a notebook and get kind of the same effect, but those are like the 3 that I use. Now, that being said, I recently got, let me flip you around here. I recently got these at Home Goods, and honestly I liked them just because they were pretty, but I want to try to use them for my content calendar. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to use them. I might write the names of the videos and stuff, or I might put the sticky notes up there. I haven't decided, but that's what I'm going to work on it today. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot is about how I don't run out of content and product ideas, and the main thing I can tell you is this little magic. So the main thing is that I just don't let ideas escape me. So anytime I have a thought about, oh, that would be a good video, whether I'm watching videos, whether I'm looking at my videos, or same with blog posts, same with email ideas, same with literally everything, I always make sure I write it down. So sometimes I write it down in my phone and then I'll transfer it later, but I'll put them on sticky notes, and then the sticky notes get transferred to my calendar. These are smaller because these are all from last year prior to getting the bigger calendar, and so I would just pull them off there and then stick them on the calendar. Now I'll probably use like the bigger ones, but that's the biggest thing. And I find that if you sit down and you start thinking like what would be some good things, when you come up with one idea, you'll come up with like 4 or 5. So if you're like, oh, well, we should talk about math centers, then within math centers you can talk about ideas for like what to do. You can talk about routines. You can talk about ideas for what manipulatives you're going to use, how to transition well, classroom management, like all of those things can go into math centers. So you can now have like 5 different blog posts or YouTube videos about math centers. The same thing with products. If you're like, oh, well, we could do this really fun game for fractions, then you could adapt that game for another concept. Or you could be like, oh, well, let's also do this other thing for fractions. I recently had that. I made a virtual field trip for the opera Carmen, and then I also made a lesson that went along with it that was just about one of the songs, because I was using that song really hard in my classroom to really help the kids understand everything, and then also using the virtual field trip. So that provided 2 different things. Then I made a virtual field trip about just opera, which again can go with those, and went off of those and were similar, and they were easy to do because they were all in the same style. But that one was more general and talked about lots of different operas. So you get different things out of all 3, but I'm saving time because I'm already kind of like in that zone and talking about opera as I'm going through these. I hope that makes sense. Before a new month, I will go through and pick out my content. Now, I've been talking about how I batch my blog posts, so my blog posts are already figured out. Wonderful. All I have to do is stick the sticky note where it goes, and then I'm done. I already batched them out ahead of time, so they're done like super far in advance. YouTube videos, I do more off the cuff, so I will pull out everything we're doing in the month, and then I will, you know, be able to do it from there. I'm going to set up this. That's my project for today, and then I think I'm gonna edit videos, and I will pick this video up later. So here we go. All right, I'm a little bit worried about these sticky notes coming up, so we may end up having to write from now on. Since I know you were dying to know, I did end up putting the sticky notes back on here, and I wrote it on there because I didn't want them to all be falling off and then be like, when does this happen? So I started with adding in my long form content. So if you were wondering about the colors, pink is this YouTube channel, so YouTube, and then some podcast interviews that I have going on. Blue is Becca's music room, so that is blog posts on Thursdays. A blog post is always accompanied by a video, and then I have some podcast interviews for those 2, and then every once in a while I'll have like a random extra video on there if I just kind of feel like it. Right now I don't have any of those planned. And then the yellow slash sometimes I put it in green is my Becca's Bible class blog post. I only do those every other week, and those are all batched, so I did them like months ago, and I'm still have not had to write new ones, which is really great. That is how I start my planning. After that, I go in and figure out what emails I'm gonna do. Now, honestly, I don't always write them down, but I did this time because I have been sending 2 emails to all my Becca's Music Room people, and I wanna up it to 3 and see if that makes any difference, brings more money, makes people not want to answer my emails. Like, we'll see how it goes. So for most of my emails, I make them very, very simple, and I will go based on what I have going on. So for example, next month, I'm gonna have a blog post that's about my favorite spirituals. That'll go out on Thursday, and then on the following days I will be sending them links to my spirituals product on TPT and other related blog posts. Now, February is kind of funky because we also have Valentine's Day, and I'm not doing any Valentine's Day related content, but I do have some products, so I did add those in a couple of times just to make sure that I have them in there. And I try to alternate between products and other blog posts and videos so that I'm not just sending them products all the time, but that I'm always adding value in my emails. But it makes it super, super easy. I also do the same on social. So when I post my blog post about spirituals, I will post a I'll post like a graphic about it, and then the next day I'll post maybe a book that goes with one of the spirituals, and then I might post the product that I have that goes with spirituals, and then I might post one of them has like some body percussion, and I did a video of myself doing the body percussion, mostly so that I could continue to practice it, but so I can like post that one day. And so different things that are based off of that, which makes it really, really easy. And when people are like, I don't know what to post, I'm like, well, what are you doing in your business? So all of everything comes off of my long form content, which is why I'm such a big proponent of it. But if you don't have all of that, then you can do it based off of something else, but I would suggest you do that. Or maybe have like a theme for the week of what you're talking about, or a theme for the month of what you're talking about. So maybe this month you talk about centers activities, next month you talk about some of your favorite books, or whatever you choose. But you could even do it based on your product. So if you post a new product, then maybe the next week you send a blog post that's similar, or you know, a video you found on YouTube that goes along with it, or one of your favorite books that goes along with it, or a lesson that you do with it, or just things like that. Like there's really easy ways to make this work, and that's really the way that I've been able to do this, is by making things run smoothly. Last year was a lot of growth and expansion. You know, I really dug into this YouTube channel. I started Becca's Bible class and just all these different things. So this year I'm really trying to make sure everything runs together smoothly is kind of my goal. So all of that to say, content and emails are all planned out. All right, now every week I sit down, usually over the weekend, sometimes on Monday when I'm kind of running late, and I will do what's called a weekly preview. So this is something that I do in my Full Focus planner, and it is like one of their whole big things is that every week you kind of set an intention for the next week, and then at the end of the week you review how it's going to go. So I'm going to go through and answer some questions. It asks about like your biggest win and how far you got on the goals that you wanted to accomplish, what worked and what didn't, and then setting your intention for next week. So with the Full Focus planner, they always talk about the big three. So for each week, you pick 3 things that are the most important things for the week to do. I sometimes have more like 4 or 5 because that's how I am. But you know, it's okay. And what I've been doing is I put them on a sticky note so that I can put it on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I can move the sticky note to Tuesday. And so I just keep that in front of me. And these are really those like needle moving tactics, like the products that you know are gonna sell, and that blog post you know you need to write, and just those like really big things. They're not anything small, and they're the most important things for the week. Those 3 things come off of my monthly plan. So I just showed you February's, but here's January. So in my month, I plan out what I would need to do in the month, and then I break it down by week, and my big 3 or 4 or 5 or however many I pick comes out of here. So like it's all kind of getting funneled down. You start with like, these are all the things I need to do, and you get more and more specific as it goes. So this week is the last week of January, and I have been batching blog posts. So I know that I need to finish up my last blog post and get them all scheduled. So those are going to be 2 things I'm going to write down here, is finish writing, and then everything scheduled, which includes, and then I kind of break it down into smaller things like graphics, and then I know I need to do some sheet music, which I will need to add. So those are going to be my first 2 things that I know are really important this week. You're gonna focus on that? No, you're not. Okay. So those are the 2 things that I know are going to be really important this week. I also know that I have not made any products for Becca's Bible class, so I need to do that this week. So I'm gonna do Battle of Jericho. Oh, hi, can I help you? Lovely. So I need to do Battle of Jericho lesson, and then also I'll do a coloring sheets for those. So lesson and then coloring sheet, and then I have a product that I want to make sure that I get out finished and out this week, so I'm going to put that on there too. These are not, now I have a hard time with people because a lot of times people are like, oh, I only do 3 things every week. Isn't that crazy? I have a lot of things to do, so these are not the only things I'm doing. They're just the most important priorities. That way every day I'm like, oh, okay, I need to do these things, but these are the most important, so I keep that on the top of my head and go through that. Then for each day, I'm gonna go ahead and plan some stuff out. So the way my planner is set up is it has 3 things on the top that are your big 3 for each day, which come from your big 3 from the week. So I'll take this and I'll write things here, and then other tasks. So what I'm gonna do right now, things are like falling out, is I'm going to go ahead and write down everything I know that is going to happen on certain days. So for example, I know that I always take the trash out on Wednesdays because the trash comes on Thursday. And I know that I'm going to go running on Monday and on Friday because I do that every Monday and Friday. And then I will go through and add in the other things that I need to do on days that I know that I will have time to do them, which is a big thing. If you know you're not gonna have time to do something, don't write it on that day. So I'll plan out like the things that recur every week, and then I will go through like what I will probably do Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll do less specific planning towards the end of the week because what I do at the end of the week depends on how much I get done at the beginning of the week. I hope that made sense. So we've gone from like the month to the week and down to the day. It just kind of funnels down like that. So yep. One of my favorite things is to go through and check off all the things that I've already finished. All right, so now we're getting ready to make February's bullet journal. Now this is not a bullet journal video, but I did want to show it, so I'm not going to go like step by step every single thing, but I do want to show you kind of how I use my bullet journal. It is a little bit different than I used to. I've kind of changed up some things, so there's actually less spreads per month, which I find a lot easier to make and keep track of and all of that. So for February, I went super simple, and I ended up just making these like little heart garlandy things, and I put February in the middle. These are both actually new packs of markers. So the February is written in my Tombow Foodinowskis, I think. I just got a pack in all the colors with a Christmas gift card, which made me so happy. And then the other ones are the mild liners from Zebra, and I am so glad y'all convinced me to buy them because they are game changers. I added this quote. I don't have it in front of me right this second, but it's something along the line of, he fought the battle in the tunnel before he ever saw the enemy, or something along those lines. It's from The Hobbit, and it's talking basically about, I mean, literally, Bilbo decided what he was going to do in the tunnel before he went out and actually had to fight the battle. And so that's just kind of a reminder that your mindset is everything, and if you can get your mind right, then you can do anything. And really the battle is with your mind and with your brain, and not actually with doing the thing. Next up, this is what is new to my bullet journal this year. I used to do this in a different notebook, but this is a lot easier. So I have my like monthly planning spread. So on the left, I am putting out all the activities I need to do for the month. And then on the right, I'm scheduling them out to different weeks. And this just makes life so much easier for me because I don't have to try and figure out what I need to do today. And it's just a lot less overwhelming to look at everything. I'll add on to those in a second, but first off, I wanted to do my first weekly layout. I actually don't use my bullet journal for planning my day-to-day because honestly, that is not nearly enough room. But I do write my goals in the first box, and then in the other boxes, I will write down 10 things I'm grateful for every morning, and that just really helps me out. So in order to figure out what I need to do this month, I go through and I look at what I did last month, what I wanted to do last month. If you saw that giant list of products that did not get done, there was that. And then I look at what I have scheduled for this month already and my needle moving tactics and kind of what I want to move forward with. If you don't know what needle moving tactics are, I will link a video below all about them. And yeah, so now I'm going through and with my color coordinated pens, which we'll talk about in a minute, I'm writing down each of the different things that I want to do. So that means different products that I want to make and different activities I want to do, different videos, different blog posts. Then I'm going through the week and I am actually writing things onto certain days. So I start with things I know are going to happen every week. So like I know that I'm going to clean the bathrooms on a certain day. I know that I'm going to go running on Monday morning. So I write those in first, and then I just kind of go that way. And I really only schedule like Monday and Tuesday, and then the rest I'll kind of add later. I also need to do my weekly preview, but I haven't done that quite yet. All right, still not looking cute, but it's the next week, and I just wanted to kind of wrap this up and let you know kind of what's been going on. Tolly's gonna help apparently. So basically my system is that I have to beginning of the year, I already went through and scheduled out a couple of things. So like I knew I wanted to do a St. Patrick's Day product for my Becca's Bible class. St. Patrick's Day is in March. So I want to make sure that I have it done in February so people have plenty of time to purchase it. So that is something that I wrote on that like master list of everything for the year. And so then I stuck that in my monthly focus. And then I'm going to write it under one of these weeks. I haven't quite finished, but I wanted to, you know, wrap this up so that I'm not done with that. And, you know, so on and so forth. I have a couple products that I wanted to make, and so those are on there. They move from monthly to weekly to daily. So then as I go through and I put my big 3 on my sticky note, those are the 3, well, I cheated and put 4. I usually put 4. The big 4 that I am focusing on this week that I really want to make sure that I get done. And so I put it on a sticky note so I can move it from page to page. And then I look at that and I say, okay, what out of that do I need to do on Monday? What out of that do I need to do on Tuesday? So that I make sure that I am getting everything just finished. That means that when I wake up on Monday morning, I'm not like, oh, well, what should I do? I wake up on Monday morning and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna work on this thing because I said I was gonna work on that thing because that's what I assigned to this week, that's what's assigned to this month. And it just makes life so easy because I'm never like, what should I do? I don't know. That is the worst thing you can do. The other thing I wanted to mention is I am this month starting something new for my products. I tend to post products that I make for my kiddos, which is great, and I'm going to continue doing that. However, I want to make sure I am being intentional, so I'm putting priority on data-driven products, and the way that I have decided to do that in a very, very simple way is that I am just going to like my dashboard on the app. You can't see that. And if you click on last sale, there we go. If you click on last sale, it'll show you your trending sales for the past 30 days. We have no secrets here if you haven't already figured that out. And so it'll tell you like the top things that you've made and which ones are selling the most. So for example, my What a Wonderful World jazz lesson, which y'all I made last week, is my top selling product for the last 30 days. So that's number 1. Number 2 is my John Williams presentation. Number 3 is my Chicka Chicka Boom Boom lesson, which is printable, by the way. A lot of people have asked me like, should we do everything digital? No, a lot of people are still buying printable, but you can do whatever you want. The next one is Instruments of the Orchestra, Google Slides and Videos, and then I Know a Shy Fellow Who Swallowed a Cello activities. And so yeah, so on and so forth. So what I did is I wrote down the 10 most popular things from the past 30 days, and then I looked at them and I said, okay, here's like 3 things that are similar to things on that list that I can then go and create this month. So for example, my What a Wonderful World jazz lesson is doing really well, so I'm going to make one for Blue Skies, which is another really common jazz lesson. So I have that. Actually 2 of the things on here are virtual field trips, so I'm making another virtual field trip to Harlem for jazz stuff again, so that's kind of a combo of those. And then a few of them are book-based lessons, so I'm going to make a book-based lesson that I've been meaning to make for a while and I just haven't gotten that far. So those are like 3 things that I put down under my Becca's Music Room, what I want to do, because I want to make sure that I am being more data-driven and more strategic this year. We're really trying to buckle down on what works. That being said, I will also say, don't hesitate to try new things. We talked about that in a podcast with Emily Cars. Don't like stick so much in your niche that you never try anything new, as long as it's, you know, related. Because again, that first product I have is brand new. It's doing phenomenally well. And if I had stuck to like, oh, well, this is my niche, this is what I do, I wouldn't have made that, because I've never made anything like that before. And so it was a little bit different, but it has done so well. And if I hadn't made that, I wouldn't have sold 84 of them in like a week. So all of that to say, I'm still posting things I'm doing in my classroom, but I'm trying to like emphasize and really put more weight and prioritize the things that I am doing that are more like data-based. So we're trying that out. It's a really easy needle moving activity that we're checking out. So now obviously you don't have to do, you know, all of the writing. I just find it really overwhelming to look at like all these things I want to do for the month and try to figure out what to do today. So that's why I like to break it down by week, and then it just makes it really easy to me. But you can do whatever you want. You don't need fancy planner. You don't need a bullet journal, although y'all, my bullet journal this month is like super simple. I was like, I just don't have the brain capacity for anything fancier than that. Oh, and I do want to mention, last thing I'll say, over here on the side, all those boxes are content. So like I have 2 YouTube videos, so there's 2 pink boxes because I do the color coordinating with you guys as pink. So when I am done with the video for Sunday, I put a check. When I'm done with the video on Thursday, I put a check. Same thing for blog posts and videos and just all of the things. And it just makes sure that I have that and I don't have to like write out blog post, video, because it's just, you know, anyway, you can save some time. If you were curious about the color coding, pink is YouTube, blue is Becca's music room, lime green is Becca's Bible class, which is actually supposed to be yellow, but I don't have a yellow pen, so I use lime green, and then purple is like personal, basically anything else. I usually put my books in purple. And then sometimes I will also put school stuff on it, is this dark green, because that's our school color. So that helps me because I can look and I can see what something is attributed to. So if I look and I see really quickly like, oh, I have a video, I know where it's going, and so that's helpful. The other thing is that it helps me to keep the main thing more important. So I should always have more blue than anything else because that is my main thing. I should have the least amount of green because that is more of like a side hustle, just something I do for fun. So there's that, and kind of like a medium amount of pink. I feel like I don't write that much pink because it's mostly videos and I don't do a lot of like extra stuff for that, and that's all written on my content calendar. So yeah, my steps would be content calendar, figuring out what you want to do for the month, and then breaking that down to the week and then to the day. So I hope this video was helpful. I also hope I hit everything because I've did this over a couple of days, so I'm like, did I hit everything I wanted to hit? I don't know. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know. Also, let me know what you do to keep track of all of the things for you. That also lets me know who made it to the end of the video, which is one of my favorite things. And yeah, I will see you guys later.